Hey, it worked. I'm getting used to this live thing because the last time I hit go live, it just spun around for a while. So let's see. Is my volume on? Let's see. Boom, boom. All right. I think we're good. What? Nope, not muted. Cool, cool. I hope this is working. This is all new to me. So cool. What's up? Chris Neyenhouse here. Hey, big Bills fan. And I'm a sports broadcaster here in Springfield, Missouri, a weekend sports anchor at KY3. And co-founder of that group behind me right there, Bills Mafia 417 Bills Mafia of Bills backers of Springfield, Missouri. I always get it. It's like a really long name, but anyways, I just want to break down the top 25 moves. There's actually more than 25 moves so far in the off season, if you really look at it. And I didn't include things like Will Clapp signing another place, Casey Toohill signing another place, just because I feel like those guys are just bodies that we're replacing. And even some of the guys on the list kind of feel like that we signed. But since we signed them, I guess they'll have more of an impact than this. Um, so let's just hit it. Let's go. I got the list right here. I'm at handy notes app. Okay. Uh, we'll work our way down. 25. Quentin Morris, non-tendered. He is such a talented tight end, and the fact that the Bills have invested so heavily in tight end with Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, he was never going to be better than third fiddle here or waiting for an injury to happen to really thrive with us, and he deserves that opportunity. So I put it as 25 because I wish he didn't go. I mean, he's a great third tight end, but I also think it's cool for the player and the person to be able to go and do that. So I put it at 25 that he can go. Was it Detroit he signed or visited with? I'm not sure where he went, but I'm just happy for him. Second of all, Milano restructure. I put that at 24 just because. I mean, didn't you just kind of feel when he took a pay cut, which is nice for the Bills because they are going to obviously be able to put that towards the cap, but they took a year off his deal, which makes you feel like this could be his last year in Buffalo, and that sucks because we love the guy. And I think it sets up. I think Dorian Williams is going to, fast forward the next off season, he's going to go into the final year of his contract. They're probably going to make him the starting outside linebacker because he's not going to resign otherwise. And I think that's their plan, and that sucks. So I put it at 24th. Then I get it. Those are the only two moves I really had a negative feeling about. Because it's off season, like optimism springs eternal. So, so these next group, I just kind of I'm like meh about. Like it's not good, not bad. Just kind of don't care. So I put Reed Ferguson extension. I think they release him every year after like final cuts. So they signed him to a 4-year extension. I'm sure that's one of those things where that's for cap purposes, and then they're going to release him so they can hold on to somebody, and he'll go outside in the parking lot, and then they'll re-sign him. They always do that. So I don't think it really matters. He's the long snapper, and they do that with him. So then I put Darrington Evans signs that welcome back to Darrington Evans. I think that's so funny because he's been on the team at least one of the time, maybe twice. I don't know, he's just been camp fodder every time. And he in the perfect world doesn't make the team because it kind of feels like he'll only make the team if one of the top 3 running backs is injured. Also, I would prefer to see Frank Gore Jr. be the next man up just because he's super young and it's kind of cool that we have Frank Gore's kid. I want to see how he plays. But that's meh. Releasing punter Sam Martin, I don't know, didn't pay much attention to him. I guess we need a new punter now. I'm not too. I just don't. I don't even know how to feel about that. So that was number 21. Number 20, I have let Mac Hollins walk. Again, mixed emotions on that because he was such a cool guy in the team to have. He turned out to be kind of weird and different, and you like that from. And it kind of sucks he's going to the Patriots, right? Like, just that of all teams, right? But they're not going to appreciate his wackiness. They're not. We did, but I don't think they are. But so we have to replace him. We need a big-bodied receiver. Ideally, Keon Coleman is that guy. He just slides into that role. He can block. He'd be that red zone threat. That's what we would want. But I do think the Bills now will use a draft pick on a receiver that fits that mold, that big-bodied guy who can play special teams and will block whenever he's out there. So the other thing too is I saw some people saying he didn't want to be here. I don't think that's the case. He got a 2-year, I think $8.5 million deal, if I remember correctly. And I don't think he was gonna get that from us. I think he would got another 1-year deal. And he had such a good season that he deserves the opportunity to get a multi-year deal. So 2 years from the Patriots probably feels a little bit more secure, although who knows, because there's so much funny money in there. Maybe they're just going to release him after 1 year. But he came into this team last year as a player who needed to have a good season. He was kind of like holding on to his NFL career, and he did. He responded. He was a great red zone threat. I mean, he only averaged 2 catches a game for us, so he wasn't a massive player for us, but good special teamers, good blocker, and dependable in the red zone. He's earned it, and good for him. Okay, moving right along. Number 19, Reggie Gilliam resigns. Fullbacks are players. I saw a t-shirt that said like fullbacks are people too or something like that. It was pretty funny. It's like at training camp last year, and he like went up to the kid and signed his shirt or something. And good for him. Just seems like an all-around kind of guy that everyone loves on the team. So definitely glad to see him get it. But I also don't really. It doesn't really move the needle for me. Obviously, fullback, like cool, awesome. Derek Forrest, the safety coming over from the Commanders. You hear like he's an athletic freak, total backup safety situation. But when you hear the guy's such a good athlete, like, okay, cool. So maybe that means he will also be a good special teamer that we need. And I want us to go back to the days where we really valued special teams. I don't know. I'm going to get to something on special teams here in a second, but that's cool. Then DeMar Hamlin re-signing at 17. Obviously, I'm wearing this little patch here. The only reason I didn't go higher with this, because like we're starting to get into the positive ones, like I feel positive about, but the only thing is it's kind of weird because we drafted a safety obviously in the second round last year, and we want to see Cole Bishop start, and he plays the same position as DeMar Hamlin. I know the safeties are pretty interchangeable, but they're paying Rap, which makes you feel like the only other position is the one opposite Rap that's available as a full-time starter. If indeed the model is to go back to the Poyer Hyde model, where there was just those two guys were always on the field, you didn't see a whole lot of other safeties that would come in. Sometimes Lewis would come in, but those guys were like always on the field. It felt like, and I want that. Obviously, like every Bills fan should want that. So with him on the team, like he is a starting safety, or he was last year, and he has been. People forget before he had the heart issue on the field, he was leading the team in tackles for a big chunk of that season, despite he didn't play the first 4 games or something like that because Hyde didn't get injured till then. And so he's a really good player, and his presence on the roster means that, I don't know, it might be hard to see Cole Bishop get on the field, and I want to see that ideally, but it is good that he re-signed. I feel positive about that. Next up, Larry Ogunjobi, the defensive tackle from the Steelers, signs. Obviously, the 6-game suspension for PEDs sucks, and that's why he's down on this list. But it is still a net positive to sign him. Otherwise, like they knew about it and they would have signed him. At least that's what they say. How do I know? You know what I mean? They're not going to admit that I don't know. I don't think Brandon Beane and company would want to say that they didn't know, because it makes everyone look bad. So I guess I believe that they knew when they signed him that he was going to have the PED suspension. Well, he's getting paid real money. I think it was like 1 year, 8.5 or something like that. Somewhere in that neighborhood. Like he's getting real starter money. So I'm assuming that means he's real starter good. So I guess it's going to be good after the 6th game. Knocked it down several spots because of that, because obviously that sucks. Alec Anderson signs his exclusive tender. It's exclusive. He can't sign with anyone else. So I don't even know. Maybe I shouldn't have had it that high. But he's so much fun to watch. Obviously, like I don't even know if any other team does this extra offensive tackle thing the way that we do with him. And just seeing him run people over and run in motion, go in motion, that's pretty fun. I like that. So it's cool to know that he'll be back. And hopefully they lock him up long term. I don't know if that'll be easy to do because like we're gonna have to sign Osiris Torrance pretty soon, and like if he's that good, he's gonna maybe want to be a full-time starting tackle. So, but it's awesome to have him back. All right, special teams. I mentioned this. Chris Tabor. I'm not sure how you say it. New special teams coach over Matthew Smiley. Smiley was retained for a while. This was like a late move. in terms of coaching changes, like usually that happens right after the season. Like those guys get fired, and it looked like, and I think McDermott even said that Smiley was coming back, but he had a change of heart. And I don't know the ins and outs of special teams. Obviously, they know better than us and me particularly, but the thing I kind of judge it as a fan on is like how many times did you look like a fool in special teams versus how many times did you make someone else look like a fool? And I think over the last few years, it's been pretty heavily on us looking like fools. Thinking back to the fake punt with DeMar Hamlin in the playoffs and the Patriots when they did a fake on us and they got it. They got the first down um, in a game in that close game late in the season. Like I just feel like I can't think of too many times when we did something cool like that against another team. We always look unprepared in those situations, and I just didn't like that. So I'm good with that. That sounds good. Kendrick Green, the offensive guard, signing over again from the Steelers. He has starting experience. I think Steelers a couple years ago, he was their full-time starter. I don't know, he started like 14, 16 games, something like that. So he was their starting guard. So anytime you get a starting guard as your backup guard, that's pretty cool. So love the signing there. That was 13. Number 12, Dane Jackson signs. Love it for a few reasons. Because he just started for us, not last season, but the season before. That's why he earned the contract with the Panthers. And I don't know. Now it's not good that they don't have him back because it means he probably wasn't worth whatever they paid him. He probably didn't have that kind of a season, but he works in our system. So, and what it means is I think it does not change that we are going to pick a corner in one of those 3 picks we have between the first and second round. I think we're picking a corner, but it gives you. If that corner turns out to be another Kyer Elam, you have Dane Jackson there. And so you have kind of like a nice floor, a high floor of performance there. So that would be good. But you don't want him to be your starter. You want him to be your backup. You want to draft the guy who takes off. Of course, we drafted Cole Bishop last year. He did not take off. I think it's tough for rookies in our secondary to get the system. So it's a great signing there. You feel good. If we can get Rasul Douglas, that would be pretty dope. He's still out there. But yeah, Jackson's a good depth signing. I think that's probably all we're going to do. I don't think we're going to pick up another corner. I don't think it makes sense financially because they're pretty tight against the cap, I believe. Next up, Laviska Shenault signs. That's a wide receiver. How cool is that? Okay, so the thing with that is I think it was like 2020. Like so many Bills fans had like a crush on this guy when he was coming out in the draft. He was valued as like a first-round pick right in our wheelhouse, like where we were picking. And I think he went to the second round, the Jaguars maybe, I think it was. I don't know. But he went in the second round, and I don't know he was really still in the league because he hasn't been – we haven't seen too much from him. He hasn't – I don't know. I think he has a kickoff return for touchdown. That was pretty cool. But he hasn't been used in the way you thought he was going to be used. So him coming to the Bills, it's kind of fun. It's a fun little piece. I have no idea what they're going to do with him, but I hope he makes the team, and I hope he can fulfill a role for the Bills. Super fast guy, gadget kind of player. Let's have some fun with this one. Now we're in the top 10. My top 10 favorite moves. Releasing Von Miller. I like it because I'm sick of waiting for the production that he has not given us. And not for nothing, didn't like the off-field stuff. I mean, anytime it's domestic violence, and then, the charges are pretty much always dropped afterwards when people realize how much money's at stake. And I don't know how that works. Not accusing anyone of anything, but it just wasn't a good look that it happened in the first place. And I feel like that's almost what he's going to be most remembered for as a Bill, because he hasn't had those moments where you loved it. Now he got hurt, obviously, but I think it was time to move on. Who knows if he's going to keep playing? Who knows? But that's what I put at number 10. And like I said, it just wasn't a good look. I don't pretend to know what happened in that situation, but I don't know. Anyways, number 9, Ty Johnson resigns. That was pretty cool. I just thought he'd walk. I thought he was going to go someplace where he was a clear-cut number 2 running back, because in our system, it's kind of like he might still be the number 2, actually, depending on how they view Davis as the other running back. Um, him and Ray Davis kind of like, I don't know, like, because here's with our system, Cook, James Cook scored, what was it, 17 touchdowns or whatever the number it was that he got. And he was not even on the field for more than half the snaps. I think it was like 48%. And that is because we divvy up a lot of snaps to Ray Davis and to Ty Johnson. So maybe that's why it was like attractive for him to re-sign here. It works, that system. He's a great receiving back. Like, he's just the definition of a third down back. You love it, which is cool too, because if you look at like the Jets when they had him, they just didn't really use him that way. And he found a home and a role with us. I love stories like that because that's what they did. They just kind of like, and the grass was greener for them. They have all these like young running backs that they spent relatively high picks on now. And I think it's cool that he came over here and had like his own revenge tour. So that's cool. Number 8, the trade of Kaiir Elam. Mentioned him earlier, obviously with Dane Jackson, talking about the corner situation. I mean, it's number 8 because I love that we were able to get something for him. But it's also not higher than 8 because kind of sucks when your first round pick turns out to be someone you are upgrading like a 6 to a 5th for, whatever we did in that trade. And like, we got some draft capital out of it, but not much. Just really disappointing. Like, imagine if that pick had hit. I mean, right before him was Trent McDuffie. I think he's an all-pro or at least Pro Bowl corner for the Chiefs. He's incredible, and he went right for the Bills. Now he's a slot corner, which we did not need. We have Taron Johnson, but I think the Chiefs were using him on the outside sometimes, late in their playoff run here. And so yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. Like, yeah, it's cool we got something for him, but it's like, man, imagine if we had 2 really good corners right now. Imagine the problem we would have if we had Christian Benford on one side, Kaiir Elam on the other, both of them having to get paid soon. We're trying to figure out how to pay them. That would be kind of cool. It'd be a good problem to have anyways. But instead, no, we're just worried about Benford. He's the only one. Luckily, it's funny, if you swapped them, like Benford went in the first round, Elam went in the 6th or whatever Benford was, then you feel better about that draft. But that's not what happened. Okay, so number 7, Josh Palmer signs. I initially hated this signing. And I think maybe I'm just a homer because I totally got talked into it. The fact that he is such a good separator, what was he, like top 10 in the league and getting separation. The weird thing about it is, okay, great. We have a guy who's going to separate. We didn't have that at all last year. We didn't have guys who won the one-on-one matchups very well. Which, funny, I think I saw that the guy who won the most percentage was Coleman, which the biggest not coming out of him in the draft was that he didn't get separation and he didn't break away from the other receivers. So I found that interesting, like that's how it played out. But that's probably not a good thing that he was the number 1 separator. So Josh Palmer immediately gives Josh a guy who should be able to get open. The thing I don't understand is anyone who's played fantasy has remembered in the last few years when Mike Williams and blanking on his name, the other receiver that went to the Bears, you know who I'm talking about. I'm just blanking on his name. Keenan Allen. That's it. When they would get injured, you would always hear, pick up Josh Palmer in fantasy. He's going to get lots of production. And then he just would not. It would just not happen. So it's just weird to me. How does he not perform? How does he not have better numbers? So hopefully that changes with us. It's just weird too. And then like last year, they only had one receiver. They only had the kid Lad McConkey they picked out of Georgia in the 2nd round. And like, it didn't seem like they had any other receivers besides him, which should have been an opportunity for him to step up. Hopefully it was just a weird thing, weird system, no relationship with the quarterback. Hopefully he builds that with Josh Allen. Then number 6, the Gregory Rousseau extension. That's good. I always feel kind of conflicted on Rousseau only because, like, allegedly he's really good. He beats his man a lot. He just doesn't have a lot of sacks for it. Quarterback pressures, he's pretty good there, but he's an elite run defender. So I know that that's a little tougher to measure and like look at a stat for. But I just like the Bills pass rush was so bad this year. And I just look at him and I'm like, aren't you supposed to be our pass rusher? So I've been told $20 million a year is less than for him than we thought he'd come in as. So I guess we got to get a deal on that. So that feels good. But gosh, I really hope that the defensive line as a whole is better this year because watching Patrick Mahomes just stand back there in the pocket in the AFC Championship game, and then the following week or 2 weeks later in the Super Bowl, he's just getting destroyed. Like, you knew it was there to happen. Like, you could have taken advantage of that left tackle weak spot for the Chiefs. You could have taken advantage of some of the issues on their offensive line. Didn't even come close. So Rousseau is a part of that. I feel a little weird about it, but I know he's supposedly really good. It's hard to grade. Number 5, I have Michael Hoyt signing. I'd probably have this up higher, except for obviously the 6-game PED suspension. Since his contract's for 3 years, and I can tell it seems like they're really they consider him a long-term chess piece in that defense. I feel less bad about a 6-game suspension because it's a smaller percentage of his contract, and I just assume, like, the same reason I think Ogunjobi's still a positive signing is that this team's future is not going to be based on the first 6 games. It's going to be based off of the time after that. So he'll be ready. And I think it's super fun to think about what they're going to do with him. Like, I can't tell. Like, I seen him listed as an outside linebacker, a defensive tackle, and a defensive end. So that makes me think, like, I should think of him as a D end because that's kind of like the middle of the 3 things. But so cool to have a guy like that. I don't know. I wanted to hear how he sounded at the press conference, and he seemed he was really sincere about the reason he got the PD suspension. I know it's always someone else's fault. Like, oh, I took bad advice from my trainer or something, my nutritionist. But whatever, because hopefully he's so good that we just don't even remember him for that. So I'm excited about that signing. Number 4, I have the Shakir extension. Really cool to have him locked up. He is not a number 1 receiver. He's your ideal number 2 receiver. But, maybe, and I say that, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe actually he's a number 1 guy. It just kind of feels like we should have a guy who's a little better than him, like, to open things up for him, because Shakir wasn't a great separator from what I remember. And but just the consistency of being able to catch balls, run after catch guy, love it. Obviously, he loves being here. We love having him. So number 4, easy. Number 3, I put the Bernard extension because obviously Terrell Bernard is the captain of the defense. He is the Josh Allen of the defense. And I knew it was going to be a big priority for them to re-sign him. And I'm just glad it's done. And with the amount of money being thrown around at these free agents, like $12 million for Palmer, it makes me think, like, we've got to re-sign our own guys. Like, James Cook for $15 million. He wants 15. You mean to tell me he's not $3 million worth $3 million more than Josh Palmer? I think he is. But then again, I also understand with running backs, it's all about the cost of the replacement because you can get most of that production from someone else. Whereas receivers, it's a little different. So I get all that. I don't pretend to know. But the Bernard thing, so cool that the captain of the defense long term. We missed out on Tremaine Edmonds. You wanted him to be the captain of the defense when he got drafted, the same draft class as Josh. Wasn't it? Yeah, I think so. Gosh, hope my memory's not off on that. But I think, yeah, it was like we had drafted Josh Allen, and then I think we were able to pick him. So anyways, and then he was just too expensive because he was like a 24-year-old free agent, former first-round pick. Like, you never see that. And just measurables off the chart. And the Bears threw like a ton of money at him. And I don't think it's panned out for them yet with that money. It feels like a big overpay now. So Terrell Bernard, a reasonable contract for your captain of the defense, a guy who's going to, threaten to be in the Pro Bowl every year, it feels like anyways. And just so cool to see that. Although it was funny seeing him wear a New York Yankees hat at his signing, like his biggest moment of his life, and he's wearing a Yankees hat. And I mean, I'm a Yankees fan, so I didn't care, but I just thought it was funny. Like, why would you wear a Yankees hat? Wouldn't you wear like a Bills hat or just anything else? But it's kind of funny because he's from Texas, went to Baylor, huge Yankees fan apparently. So funny. Okay, 2 left. Number 2, I put the Josh Allen contract extension. The only reason it wasn't number 1 is because, like, were any of us really scared that he wouldn't want to stay? Like, he's a lifelong Bill. He's going to be here as long as he wants. Although, I mean, obviously I say that in like an Aaron Rodgers type, like, oh, well, he's in his career. He's just going from team to team now. So it does happen to players, but I just what a love affair this city, this team, this fan base has with Josh. And you knew that he was like the 8th highest paid quarterback or something in the league. So he deserved a raise. He got it. It's just great to hear that we're paying the MVP what he's worth. A lot of those guys that we jettisoned last year, which, by the way, at the time, it sucked to hear that the Trey Whites of the world and the Mitch Morses and eventually the Stephon Diggs of the world were gone. But if I understand it correctly, I believe that those were moves that were set up for this sort of extension where you have to clear money off your books. And none of those guys did anything for their new teams, I think, that was really that notable. So in hindsight, it was a good move. And it's you wanted it to go to a guy like Josh because he's earned it. And we want that message to be sent to the players in the locker room that we will pay for this. You play well, we're going to try to give you your money, and that's something Brandon Beane has said. So I mean, is it cool to know? Like, I think he only got like an extra 2 years out of it, but like, whatever. I'm never worried about him leaving. I'm just not until proven otherwise. So that's why it was number one, but it's still number two because it's just awesome. You were hoping that this offseason we would finally get him back up to highest paid quarterback, and we did. I believe he's highest paid. Dak's contract is so crazy. Maybe he's still highest paid. I don't know. And number one, of course, you knew it was coming. Joey Bosa signing with the Bills. Just so much fun. We got a Bosa on our team, man. Like, that's awesome. And I'll talk about his injuries or whatever. Like, anytime you sign a free agent, like, the other 31 fan bases want to talk crap about it. So you knew that was coming. Oh, he's always injured. Well, you know what? When he plays, he's still really good. So, and he's not hurt right now. So hopefully he'll be fine. Just awesome to have a guy like that. I feel like he's really already vibing with Josh Allen, and like, it's kind of cool. Like you love these guys that feel like they fit right in, and it feels like he fits right in. So cool. All right, so that's my list. The top 25 moves by the Bills so far in the 2025 offseason. Obviously, the draft is still ahead, so there will be more moves to come. But this is, I'm recording this a couple weeks into free agency. It feels like all the big moves have happened. There are still big moves to be made. Like if Douglas signs with the Bills, that'd be awesome. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they have the money for that. So yeah, that's my list. And thanks for watching. Anyone who does. Still don't know if I ever get people watching or listening yet, but that's why we do it. Just do it. Okay. Talk to you later.